Pokémon AC is the new title coming in later this year, where we are going to explore the Kalos region for a second time, but now bound only to exploring Lumiose City. We get new starter choices for this adventure. We swap Chespin, Fennekin, and Frokick for Chikorita, Totodile, Tepig. Now, if we go back a couple games, to be exact, Legends Arceus, we know new starters means new regional variants, usually. I'll get more into that later on. However, with Pokemon AC is a special case. You have to consider the original gimmick of these games. Mega Evolution. Both regional variants and Mega Evolutions won't happen simultaneously. It's either gonna be one or the other. I personally believe the plan Pokemon has in mind is to have the starters get the regional variants and the original Gen 6 starters get the Mega Evolutions. But I'm getting too out of focus. Let's continue with the video. In this video, I want to show my vision on what possible original variants could look like for the starters of Pokemon CA. Let's go ahead and check that out. Up first, let's start with the little fire piglin, Tepig. Tepig is the most hated fire and fire starter. Not so much to do with his design or that he's a bad Pokemon, but more to do with the fact that everyone got tired of the firefighting starter. That should have ended on Gen 4. He should have been a different typing. That's besides the point. Arguably the worst design out of the Gen 5 starters. But I believe there's a lot of potential in Emboar and a possible original variant. Let me show you. Now, before we continue, I had to explain a couple things real quick. I am going to follow the rules Legends Arceus left behind when it comes to designing an original variant for starters. Meaning, I'm only going to do the final evolution as the original variant or original form. I'm not gonna do middle or first stage, which makes sense because on the trailer we don't really see Tepig being a different design. So no original variants on those two, just the final evolution. With all that explained, let's continue with what we are keeping from regular Emboar. His overall size, posture, and stat total stays. One of his abilities stays. Everything else goes out the window. Let's go first a little more in detail on my inspiration for Kalosian Emboar's design. It's the best way to explain my thought process when designing him. I am following the design theme from Gen 6 starters. I'm making the starters a D&D fantasy inspiration. Just like we had Mage for Delphox, the Assassin with Greninja, and the Knight with Chestnut, Kalosian Emboar would take inspiration on Paladins. Main characteristic of Paladins are huge figure, angelic features, feathers everywhere around, and beams of light. Form tones, whites, yellows, and fiery in some depictions. With the idea on my head, this is how I designed him. Firstly, I made Emboar bigger, switch around his fur to get the illusion of armor, made his silhouette more robust with larger arms, added white pink feathers around his body to better fit the paladin role. Some touches here, some touches there, and voila! You have Kalosian Emboar. The suck about everything else that makes Kalosian Emboar unique over regular Emboar. It's pretty obvious what Kalosian Emboar's typing is. The angelic feathers, mystical aura, and not to forget his fairy tale-like powers that can challenge even the scariest of dragons. Of course, there's no other type that can go better than Fire Normal.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
Just kidding. Obviously, we're talking about the first Fairy Fire starter, or Fairy Fire Pokemon in general. If you think about it, it's a nice way to break the Emboar curse. Okay. What do I mean by the Emboar curse? Well, with the last two games having a Fire Ghost starters, imagine if Emboar was the third Fire Ghost type we had, well, sequentially, or one behind the other. That would be pretty bad for Emboar and make a lot of people hate him more when there shouldn't be no need for that. But not only is he gonna break the trend of being the third of any fire starter type, he's gonna start a whole new trend of fire fairy types. Let's move on. For all the Kalosian starters, we're gonna keep the same stat total. However, we're gonna make some arrangements. Speed and HP are the only stats that are gonna stay, well, a bit consistent with regular Emboar, only dropping by 10 points each. Speed will go from 65 to 55, and health will go down from 110 to 100. Now we take a 360-degree turn and get huge bulk, going from 65 physical defense to 123 for Kalosian Emboar. Beefy boy. And special defense will go from 65 to 100. This added bulk complements Kalosian Emboar pretty well. Although, with the added bulk, some sacrifices were made. Physical attack goes from 123 to 90, and special attack goes from a decent 100 to a deplorable 60. To make up for his lack of power, he gets a new move called Crimson Shield. This fire type move with 60 base power, 100% accuracy. I know, 60 base power, not very impressive, but I promise it gets better from here on. For starters, it works like body press, where it calculates damage using defense instead of attack. This is huge considering how great the base bulk of Kalosian Emboar is. But we aren't done yet. There's a secondary effect that works kinda like a Russian roulette. Let me explain. The secondary effect works as follows: has a 20% chance of burning the opponent, a 20% chance of increasing Kalosian Emboar's defense by 1 stage, or it has a 60% chance of doing, well, nothing. Now, while the percentage of Crimson Shield doing nothing is pretty high, if you do get the other two effects, that can be pretty game changing. On the one hand, you got burn. Dropping your enemy's attack is a huge deal in competitive Pokemon. And on the other hand, boosting your defense, especially with a move that uses your defense as damage, that's also huge. Just like almost any other original variant, Kalosian Emboar also gets a new shiny ability. What is the ability? Well, Stamina. Yeah, I should probably explain why is this a big deal. Well, Stamina is an ability introduced in Generation 7. It is mainly associated with Mudbray, the little horse, the little donkey Pokemon. When a Pokemon with this ability is hit by any attack, its defense goes up by 1 stage. What is her Kalosian Emboar's main attack again? Oh yeah, Crimson Shield. The attack that uses defense over physical attack to do damage. Yeah, I think Stamina is gonna be great for him. Overall, Kalosian Emboar has every tool it needs to be great in competitive play. Also, carry someone through their first playthrough of Legends CA. With the new typing, new arrangement of stats, and a new signature move, he's gonna be someone's favorite. I am very sure about that. Here's his shiny. Enjoy! Next up, we have Kalosian Feraligatr. For his design, unlike Kalosian Emboar, I took some similar traits from Greninja. Both have a dark, mysterious aura, a silent demeanor, dark color palette, and sneaky tactics. However, while Greninja is a sneaky, fast Pokemon, Kalosian Feraligatr is not quite that. It is a lot bulkier and slower. Now, for a rogue/assassin character, speed is the most important. It is the main trait they're known for, being sneaky, silent, and fast. However, with Kalosian Feraligatr, I wanted to take a different approach. You'll see what I mean. For starters, let me show you some of the design decisions I made. Let's see, first I took regular Feraligatr, make him bigger, more slender, everywhere around his body except for the upper chest, increasing its size until it looks kinda like a balloon. Longer arms, longer legs for ease of reach. I changed his color palette to black and white to mimic an orca. I believe this goes very well with his new typing. You may be wondering, why did I give him the same colors as the orca? Well, the orca is an apex aquatic mammal, just kinda like Feraligatr, even though it's based on alligator. But it works well with water starter, and it also kinda works well with his secondary typing. but not gonna quite mention his secondary typing just yet. Let's first talk a little more about some other design choices I made. I gave Kalosian Feraligatr a sizable sail on his back, a transparent tail, somewhat. Finally added bone-like structures around his torso and arms, and a bit on his legs. And voila! We got a Kalosian Feraligatr design. Moving on to typing, I had to really think a little bit outside the box when deciding what should be Kalosian Feraligatr's secondary typing. I needed a type that wasn't weak to fairy, because I don't want the starters to have tools to fight back against each other. No dark type and no dragon type. Dragon type would have been cool, but I have a plan for that one. Stay tuned to the channel. But I'm getting sidetracked. I also needed a type that wasn't weak to fire, so bug and steel kinda out of the question. If only there was a type that had no inherent weakness to Kalosian Emboar with a mischievous death-related background. If only there was a type like that. Oh yeah, the ghost type. There's no better typing that checks all the boxes. And best of all, it kinda works out with the theme of being mischievous, dark, and silent. Now, for stats, I want to take a different route. Instead of what I did with Kalosian Emboar, which was just change everything around and make a whole new Pokemon, with Kalosian Feraligatr, I just want to take regular Feraligatr and just maximize everything it has. Take the 530 base stat total that it has and take some here, take some there to create a true monster. Let me show you. I started with HP because it was the most simple one, since I'm gonna keep the same HP stat, 85 to 85 between the two gators. I took some points from both special attack and special defense, going from special defense 83 regular Feraligatr to 72 Kalosian Feraligatr, and a special attack a little bit of the same, going from 79 to 70. Went and added 10 points to regular defense, well, physical defense, so it went from 100 from regular Feraligatr to 110 to Kalosian Feraligatr. Modest upgrade, nothing too crazy. But by far the biggest downgrade for Kalosian Feraligatr is going to be speed, going from regular Feraligatr 78 speed stat to a low of 55 for Kalosian Feraligatr. However, all of these sacrifices are going to be worth it. With all the points accumulated that I can give to Kalosian Feraligatr, a huge upgrade to its physical attack is on the way. We go from regular Feraligatr 105 physical attack to 140. Yes, you heard me right, 140. That is a huge leap in physical attack. It leaves Kalosian Feraligatr just behind monsters like Deoxys attack mode that has 180 attack and slacking with 160. It is a great Pokemon if you use it in a Trick Room set, because you know, slow mons move first, yada yada yada. He can hit, he can punch, yeah. However, there might be another way to play with him, not only bound to Trick Room. Stay with me. Now, let's move on to talk about Kalosian Feraligatr's new move. Just like Kalosian Emboar with Crimson Shield, I decided to give a new move, well, a new signature move to Kalosian Feraligatr to give him a little push. This new move is called Spirit Chunk. This new move is a 60 base power, 100% accuracy, physical ghost attack move that has similar side effect to Kalosian Emboar's Crimson Shield. It has a 20% chance of confusing the enemy, 30% chance of becoming priority move like Shadow Sneak, a 20% chance of gaining 50% health back, and a 30% of doing just nothing. You're still with me? Good. Let's keep moving. This move is really useful, but maybe it's not enough for Kalosian Feraligatr. So I'm also giving him Vicious Rend for extra water power. Now, besides just getting a new move in Spirit Chump, Kalosian Feraligatr also gets a brand new ability. The ability name is Polterjaw. Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's roll with that. Polterjaw works as follows. On your first turn, you basically have no ability. It will do nothing for you and nothing against you. However, Come next turn, any bite based move gets a +1 priority, meaning if you use Thunderfang on your second turn, you will move faster than any other Pokemon in the field. You will lose it the next turn though. Every other turn you will gain a +1 priority on any bite based move. A +1 priority is a big deal. There's a reason most priority based moves are very weak, like Extreme Speed or Shadow Sneak. But combining the high power moves like Crunch or especially Fish's Rend, which doubles its already good 85% base damage to an 170 if it moves first, you can start to see how strong this combo is. It's a strong ability, but it's pretty balanced, or at least I believe it's pretty balanced. And that's good enough for me. Let's move on. Overall, Kalosian Feraligatr has great tools to be someone's favorite. He's definitely mine. Great tools for competitive, nice design, cool inspiration for its design, great roar, and many other things that makes it cool. So yeah, let me know if you guys enjoy the design. Also, here's the shiny. Leave your opinions down in the comment sections. I'll be the first to say, I don't like Chikorita, and the Chikorita line in general. I find the design boring, not appealing to me at all, and I've been an avid supporter that it is the worst starter out of all of Pokemon. No doubt in my mind. While I was making this video and researching on how to create a new Meganium, I saw the typical comments of saying Chikorita is boring, she is horrible design, yada yada yada. But I saw a subsection, a small section of Chikorita fans who all seem to be very fan of the Chikorita design. And I thought, if I can make a good design for Chikorita for my own sake, I can probably come up with something for the Chikorita fans. So let me show you what I got. For Kalosian Meganium, I follow the same rules as the other two. I took a D&D class as the base for the design, and then just started messing around, to be honest. For inspiration on Kalosian Meganium's design, I'm using the healer class. Let's take a look inside my head and see what I was thinking when making Kalosian Meganium. So the base is a healer, but it branches off from the typical stereotype of a healer. I'm thinking more of a combat doctor, if you will. A Pokemon who's ready to support and heal its allies, but it can also hit back with a lot of force if it needs to. A bastion of hope is what I want Kalosian Meganium to represent. It's what I want it to be. Following on some of the steps of Kalosian Emboar, I made Kalosian Meganium more robust and a little bigger. Took away its flower, gave it some leaves, arranged it in a peacock style with some leaves changing styles into more of a lining shape. We'll go over that a little more in depth later. Took away their antennas and I replaced it with a wood crown made from its, well, wood antlers that now grow instead of the antennas. Finish up with some pink touches all around the body, here and there, and done. Voila! You have Kalosian Meganium, fully done. Unlike Kalosian Emboar and Kalosian Feraligatr, I won't run around on the subject of Kalosian Meganium's typing. From its design alone, you can kind of tell it's obviously grass and electric. Pretty obvious. Let's instead move on to why I chose grass and electric type instead of what everyone defaults to, which is grass and fairy. First, the design inspiration being based on a healer slash combat medic, I needed a type that will represent, quick bursts of recovery, and there's no type that is faster than the electric type. So, kind of works out. Electric, defibrillator, speed, it just all works pretty well. Beside the design elements, I also wanted a type that didn't mess up with the balance between the three starters. Unlike the other two Kalosian forms of the starters, I made a lot less adjustments for the stats of Kalosian Meganium. The new stats goes as follow: 92 HP, 40 attack, 110 defense, 85 special attack, 120 special defense, and 82 speed. As you can see, I kept stats very similar, with the main change being taking 40 points from regular Meganium's attack and spread them to the rest of the stats, especially bulk. It is going to withstand multiple shots from even the biggest of threats in competitive Pokemon. With the great defensive typing, the only weakness it has is poison, and the extra resistances also come from its great hidden abilities Yeah, we should probably move on to that before I reveal them. Just like all grass starters, Kalosian Meganium keeps the universal and great ability of Overgrown, while also receiving a great new ability in Thick Fat. Thick Fat was introduced back in Generation 3. It provides protection from both fire and ice moves by making both of the attacks half of what they should do. Let's continue. New signature move. The new signature move is a 60 base power damage, 100% accuracy electric spread move with the following effects. It heals 50% of the health of the Pokemon beside you or the Pokemon beside Kalosian Meganium. It will also boost the next electric attack Kalosian Meganium uses by 30%. Without the added tricks, Kalosian Meganium is set for success. Hope it helps people to enjoy Meganium more, and in my case, it is possibly my favorite original variant that I created today. Here's the shiny. Enjoy it. Now, that was all for today, but we're not done yet. I would like to hear your opinion on the designs of the original variants. Do you like them? Do you prefer the old ones? Or maybe you have an idea of your own. All of that I want to hear in the comment section, so please leave a comment and let me know your opinion. For a possibility of a new original variants of other Pokemons, leave me your ideas down in the comment section as well. I will take them in consideration, and I will also give you credit. If you leave the comment, I will grab your comment and post it on the next video. So make sure you leave a comment. Leave all your opinions on the video. What to improve, what to make better, what to keep, what to cut. Let me know. I want to know everything and improve these videos as much as I can. And thank you for enjoying my first video. This is a big step on something big that I want to create. And I'm glad that you guys are going to be the first ones to see my first steps into this new journey. So that was all. I'm Lumit, and we say to you good night, good morning, and good afternoon. See ya.